cheese to my mac.
Cheese? What? Cheese mac?
Mac and cheese.
Then say the mac to your cheese.
No!
You have to say it where you
I am
understand.
not. No,
what
you are not an intelligent young man.
Repent? Did you learn?
I can say I did.
Suck it.
No, thank you. I'm not that way.
I knew you were gonna.
I
Take
stuck
that
on her
literal.
titty, but that's it. Just going crazy. Bless this kid's hot.
Before the video begins, I want to take a moment and dedicate this entire video to one man. Austin Sensei is that man. Today is his birthday. Austin, just want to dedicate this video to you because it's a topic special to me. You introduced me to Toradora all those years ago, got me into the show, and got it to be one of my all-time favorites. You've made me laugh through hard times and helped me through those hard times as well. I honestly can't say thank you enough for what you've done for me, but I hope that even if it's just a tiny bit is conveyed through this, I hope it reaches you. And like you've said before, you and I are brothers. Happy birthday, Austin Sensei. The following names are involved in an emotional roller coaster that'll tug at your heartstrings. Takasu Ryuji, Nisaka Taiga, Kushieda Minori, Kawashima Ami, and Kitamura Yusaku. Toradora, also known as Tiger X Dragon, a romantic comedy that follows Ryuji and Taiga, an odd duo, as they embark on a quest to help each other confess to their respective crush, all the while forming an unlikely alliance in the process. Now, let's go back in time, shall we? April of 2008. Toradora gets announced on a promotional advertisement for the light novel series being released under ASC to Media Works Dengeki Bunko in print, set to have a first episode release date on October 1, 2008, with the final episode airing on March 26, 2009. As time would go on, the show would gain more popularity than the previous year, thus causing a huge fan base to be built. Overall ranking and score would eventually come in, rating the show at 219 on my anime list, with a rating score of 8.29, with user reviews flowing in as well, majority of which rated the show anywhere from a 7 out of 10 to a 10 out of 10. You may be asking yourself, oh, well, what's so good about this show, and why is it so popular? Well, little Timmy, I'll tell you. In terms of romance, slice of life, comedy, and school anime, as to which all are the categories it lies under, it's very unique. Now, where to begin? Well, how about we choose the cliches? The story not only stays away from your typical romance cliches like the childhood friend, the harem route, perfect love interest, or one of the most well-known ones, the main character doesn't know when someone loves them, aka the dense MC, and that's just to name a few. Now, to the showrunner of the show, which would be the characters, whom are all likable, unique, and relatable due to them showing their own weak sides and moments of insecurities beyond the personality exterior that you can see. It has a nice soundtrack also, and the music just capture your ears, causing you to pay more attention, making specific scenes all the more memorable. Just like the show's 2 openings and endings, I have to give a big shout out to the timing of the music during dramatic moments. That repetitive melody of piano left quite a strong impression of me, and I'm just a huge schmuck for music now, because by golly they are so good. And there are some key scenes where the soundtrack had actually triggered goosebumps and made me tear up, and it still even does after a rewatch, which I just finished as of making this script. The art was smooth and was enjoyable visually. I did like the consistency that the animation was done at. For a series that was done in the 2008 to 2009 time period, it still looks marvelous and holds its own compared to some of the more recent animes today. But when it came to the few Taiga fight scenes, or the emotional roller coaster of confession scenes, the animation was kicked up a notch. The impact was the biggest of all. And I'd like to address that the script and voice actors were really quite remarkable. The dark little subtleties, or remarks, were an admirable feature to the show, and had a lot to offer. Throughout the show, you'll see the comedic scenarios turn into more serious and emotional ones as the plot progresses, and as you dive deeper into the characters as a whole. It'll cause you to become emotionally invested from the beginning and all the way to the very end. It'll make you want to click for the next one, and it's very binge-worthy. Each characters have personalities that are unique and rather realistic and believable, or as realistic as animes go, which is why the anime is so great. There's no super character that has to act too good or too cool for school, no that annoying character that acts too snobby or stuck up, which can sometimes be a problem for tsundere characters. And this is all because every character shows a weak side, or moments of insecurity, which makes them more relatable. Every character has a reason and motive for the actions they decide to take. The first time I watched this anime, the story kept me guessing and wanting to know what would happen next, instead of making me feel like I could write the story myself. It didn't have none of those cliche moments that I've mentioned before. No, absolutely none of those happened. Every character has a reason and motive for every action they decide to take. But, as great as something might be, there's always one or two negatives to mention. And with animes like Toradora, it comes down to personal preference. So, while I did like the ending overall due to it tying things up nicely, feeling fairly rewarding, the ending also felt very rushed. The amount of material crammed into the last couple episodes felt considerably off, considering the rest of the show was focused on coaxing the relationships at a much slower pace. But, and here's the big but, a couple of bad apples on a tree don't make the rest of the apples rotten, and Toradora was far from being bad. It isn't a completely perfect series by all means, but one of the best romance genre has to offer in anime even now. If you've only seen this anime once, it definitely warrants a rewatch. You'll pick up on certain things that you didn't the first time around. The music, especially being one of them. Romance has always been a tricky, unforgiving genre. You make one mistake and the story slowly begins to crumble. And why is that, you may be asking yourself again? Well, little Timmy, I'll tell you again. As many of us are well aware, love is a complicated business. Maybe we're simply taking a chance at trying to find a feeling of the tingle of our heartstrings, or a stir in our human emotions. It's good to feel these things from time to time, and fortunately for us, Toradora is a series that'll gracefully grant us this chance. It captivates us in remembering what a romance series should strive to be. Every once in a while, a person can't help but wonder, what if? There has been a time in all of our lives when we've pondered the thought of meeting the one who is exactly right for us. Every day we strive to find a person who understands and accepts us for who we are. And maybe, just maybe, you'll find that one person that fits together with you like two consecutive cogs in an intricate machine. Maybe, if you're lucky, you might meet someone who is exactly right for you. And it's not because this person is perfect, or because you are, but because your combined flaws fit together seamlessly in a way that allows the two different beings to coexist together perfectly as equals. Something like a tiger and a dragon.